Because the data get into the system so quick, accountants can do the reconciliation, can do the report basically right away. So in the past, you're always like, oh, you have the statements 1 week after month-end close. Now you don't. Actually, as at month-end close, you can have all the data ready, can be all reconciled.
So hi Esther, thank you for taking your time to do this podcast. I mean, it's a great pleasure having you here today. Maybe we let's start off like introducing yourself.
Yes, thank you, Li-Han, for having me here. It's a great idea that we get together and share our experiences. Yes, I am your partner success manager from Xero Asia. And my role is to help advanced partners who are really really advanced in the Xero journey, who know how to use the Xero cloud platform really well, and have been using all the add-on to empower the platform and deliver really fast services to clients. So my role is the everything in one support person for advanced Xero partners. And a little bit about myself, the background is that, and before being the partner success manager, I was actually the senior partner consultant who helps with all the technical support. So my role is like helping you with like basically the whole suite of services and anything that you need to grow and advance in the Xero journey.
Great introduction. I mean, it's always good. You have been helping us with a lot of things, especially now that we are organizing things. That's where you come in and help our audience as well to understand more about Xero. Okay, so I think short introduction for myself. I think like you mentioned, we have been with Xero since 2016. So like you mentioned, advanced Xero partners. So we are a Go partner, and happy to organize this podcast to let more people know about the wonderful things Xero can do. Okay, so maybe you shared about your role itself in Xero. Okay, can you share a bit more about your background and how you got into accounting?
Wow, okay, that will be back in a few decades ago. So how I get into accounting, I started off with the Big Six. And then I studied Bachelor of Commerce and some major in information technology.
Okay.
When I graduated, I joined the Deloitte as external auditor in Hong Kong, and then I moved to Singapore. I was with PricewaterhouseCoopers Singapore as external auditor, and after all these external statutory audits, I moved into internal audit to look after internal controls for investment banks. So you heard about ING Bearings. I'm not the internal auditors for Bearings, but I was the first batch of the internal auditors for ING Bearings that took over the. I think that bank is too old. You haven't come across. But if you look up Nick Leeson and how he collapsed Bearing Futures in Singapore, then you know the history. So it's that batch. So that was where I started with the accounting and the finance industry.
Okay, that goes really a long history itself, and no wonder you actually have some vast knowledge in terms of whenever you ask you things, you actually know everything because you've been with Xero, you've been in the accounting and finance industry for so long. Okay, that really helps with all the practical questions we ask you. You're always giving us feasible, great solutions. Okay, so what inspired you to work with Xero?
That would be back in Australia. So I spent 20 years in Sydney, and I was with the chartered accounting firm in Sydney. And back then, I certified in Xero in 2014. So it's now like almost 9 years. Yeah, so back then in Australia, cloud accounting is really popular way before Asia.
Yep.
And actually the payments, I haven't been writing checks for 20 years. In Australia, we use payment system. We just use Apple Pay, everything like credit card swipe. That is back in 10 years ago. So cloud accounting is something that is quite popular back in 10 years ago, and there are other players as well. So and also because Australia is such high tax, so everyone have a business and everyone have to submit a GST return. So Xero is like a brand name in Australia, and basically help like sole trader business to have all the accounts on the mobile device so they can access and use it anytime, anywhere.
So convenient.
Yeah, exactly. And then for the GST return, they can just like go in and then like put through and then could go through a direct, because we have direct interface with the Australian tax office. So all the GST can just be like filed right away.
Wow, they are so advanced. I mean, we only started recently and they already done it.
So we can see that like in Asia, basically it's just like, it's going to happen like that. It's just going to advance and bring all these like efficiency, like will increase. We have efficiency here in Asia already. It will just be like more faster and more efficient.
Evolving rapidly. Okay.
Correct, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, this is only recent years, like after COVID, that this actually becomes more popular because everybody is working from home. Then this comes where the cloud accounting, the convenience that it offers, helps expedite this process actually. I mean, if not, I think still a lot of companies will be using the old school traditional desktop accounting, even Excel as well.
Yeah, true, very true.
Okay, so that's great. So I think the first topic that we have, right, I mean, for this podcast is automating process with Xero. And I believe you have already introduced what Xero can do. So I think our first question is basically, how has Xero helped business automate their accounting process? I believe you have mentioned some. Maybe you can elaborate more what they can do to help us with this accounting process to streamline.
Yep. So nowadays, we always talk about AI, always talk about ChatGPT and all that. So actually in Xero, way when started, we were born in the cloud 2006. So the machine learning, the AI is already inbuilt there. So what is the most efficient point is that we have the really direct bank feed. Direct bank feed is pulling bank account data straight from their business bank account and then get it line by line directly fed into the Xero client account, so that you don't have to, like accountants, bookkeepers do not have to key in each of the bank statement items, and all the entries would come to the accounts daily, and you don't have to log in. So that is the AI, that is the automation. They make data flow seamlessly. So that is the key efficiency point we have. And then like that is like replicated in from New Zealand, Australia, in Asia, in Singapore. All the local banks, direct bank feed has been built straight from the bank to Xero. So that really like reduced a lot of the time.
I totally agree. A few years has a lot of changes. I mean, during my time, okay, I actually have to take out all the bank statements one by one. Then we have to compare one by one with the system. We highlight. Okay, it's just so manual. That there's this old school kind of process. We do it one by one. But now it's so simple. Everything is just linked to Xero. We just click one of the button and that's all. That's all the reconciliation done. We can have all the records there. We don't need to keep all those highlighted papers and everything to go through again. That's wonderful.
Correct, yeah. And then because the data get into the system so quick, accountants can do the reconciliation, can do the report basically right away. So in the past, you're always like, oh, you have the statements 1 week after month-end close. Now you don't. Actually, as at month-end close, you can have all the data ready, can be all reconciled. You can pull out the P&L balance sheet, your management report. And now we have the data analytics. We have the Analytic Plus, where it can pull out the like a summary of the business performance. You can have like the graph showing like how your revenue, how the expenses are going over the period of time, over the year, and also can do a year-on-year comparison. So this kind of like business insight and a visual table that you can actually send it through PDF on the WhatsApp to your client right away on month-end close is like really, really efficient.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, I mean, last time when we actually do this accounting monthly, we have to wait like 1 whole month later because 1 week for the bank statements, then, processing, so manually everything, data entry. That takes like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, depending on the volume. Then by the end of the month itself, the following month, then you have the reports ready. And by the time you have the reports, it's not so nicely prepared. It's just a profit and loss, the PDF copy. Okay, if not, you have to print it out. You ask them to come over and you show them, you talk to them. So now it's so convenient. You just send it over email, you send it over WhatsApp. You can just discuss over WhatsApp. have a short call, have a Google Meet or Zoom to just discuss it. So convenient. I mean, it really helps business decisions, because if you wait for 1 month, then you don't know what will happen with the cash flow. You don't know what will happen 1 month later. So with that, I mean, you cut short minimally 3 weeks now that you can just see the report. You can see your KPIs right away.
That's
fantastic.
Great that you're helping your clients like much faster. And they certainly will value your support, definitely.
Yeah, man. I mean, with Xero, it really helps them. I mean, that's why a lot more businesses support Xero nowadays.
That's great to hear. Yep, that's great.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, now you know how Xero help with the accounting process and direct benefits, okay, data analytics that gives insightful data, I mean, to all the clients. In terms of automation wise, right, I think Xero, I understand that it can also integrate with add-ons. So you mentioned that earlier there's add-ons that can be integrated. So I mean, how does Xero does this integration and help with the accounting process?
Very good question. So you know that like in Xero itself is the accounting core platform. So how to empower it to make it more useful is that we have this ecosystem with more than 1,000 accredited applications that has built the API from these applications to Xero, so they can bring the data straight from these apps to the accounting record. And what are these apps? These apps, you can actually think about it as very easy to relate. It's like a go to the app store, you buy extra software to empower your phone. So our Xero App Store, you can think of it by industry, by functions. Oh. So yeah, so by industry. So if you are like talking about like food and beverage add-on, you may want to have like POS system that can handle the order, the food and beverage inventory, those like more minute, those data for management. So that you can have all this ordering done on the F&B apps. And then with the day end or weekend or month end data, you can like push through all those revenue data straight into Xero for accounting reporting.
Wow, that's very convenient. So we have to go through so many databases just to combine into one.
Correct. And that is like one of the hundreds of industry, right? And then if you talk about function, so you want to like say empower to make your reporting even more beautiful, to have more insight. You can, I know that you are have a lot of SIFT integration. So SIFT is like a powerful reporting add-on that also integrate. Actually, in this side is actually getting the data from Xero, integrate to SIFT, so that like SIFT can actually pull out all the different data in Xero and give you a more insightful report.
Yeah, I mean, they come up with graphs. It's much easier to present. I mean, it's much more visual. Yep. And other than that, I think HR softwares, I mean, we're using Telenor, just log in.
Yeah.
You can pull HR data. You don't need to actually go to your HR, request for the information, then you go in the key into Xero. I mean, it's so easy now. They just need to click one button, all the information flows through, and you have all the necessary to do your bank reconciliation, your data entry. Yeah, so convenient. So yeah, I mean, integrations really help a lot, because I mean, you may start from a SME, a very small startup. Okay, you just need Xero for your invoicing, your purchases. But as you grow, I mean, these add-ons really helped to power up your business. It's like it really power up because then you have CRMs that you can add on. You have inventory management if you do retail or e-commerce. So it helps you with all these things, which I think in the past you need actually an ERP system to do all this. But right now it's just Xero, and just select whatever add-ons you think is good for you. And there you go. You have a very resourceful kind of system to use about.
And ERP is so expensive, 6-digit. And with WLP, you can like those ERP users can think about breaking it down and get into a more modular and at a much lower cost.
Yeah, I mean, it's as and when you want to use it. You don't need to actually just buy one package and then you may not use most of the functions, only one of it. Yeah, so you just pick and choose.
Absolutely.
Very good. Yep. So then, how can business ensure that, I mean, all this Xero automation are maximized, I mean, fully utilized?
That's why businesses really should look up to experienced advisors like WLP, Because you guys have been using the software since 2016 and you have all the experience, what integration will work for the industry, what integration will work for like certain functions. So in order to maximize that automation, people should really consult and look through the process, streamline. So if there are areas that are using like too much time, too much paper, or too many manual process, then you really have to like consult like WLP, go through with the advisory, streamline any part that can be like shortened, make it more efficient with applications, with like OCR. Of course, we in Xero, we have like the OCR function in the help doc, which is free in all the business editions. And also we have the OCR ability in the expense claim module, where you can just like anytime any receipt, you just scan and that information will be populated into the account with all the key data. So all these we have the tools. So Xero is a tech firm, provide you with the tools. And then with WLP, with the advisory Xero partner firms, they are able to make use of the tool, show the business how to make use of all these technology to get the workflow more streamlined.
Yep, definitely. I mean, that's where we come in. I mean, that's where we help. But I think not only us, I believe Xero, the learning center, the support center is also very, very helpful. Basically, they have a huge database in terms of all the articles that they can explore. I mean, they have also a certification kind of training program. That's wonderful. I mean, we get our colleagues, okay, when they first on board, that's where they go through. I mean, that's the easier ways to get them up to speed, okay, and provide them with all the necessary to advise our clients. So I think not only us, the clients can go to Xero support, go to Xero Learning Center to learn all this. I mean, there's always the quarterly updates, which is wonderful. They give us entire information, tips as well to use Xero. That's really wonderful and what Xero is doing.
That's really great. You are definitely a very seasoned Xero partners, making full use of our Xero Central information, as well as all the learning modules and quarterly product update. No wonder you guys are so up to date with all the information. That's great.
That's good. I mean, that's really helpful because like you yourself, you've been helping us. I mean, we can get resources everywhere. I mean, Xero just provide all of them so efficiently, so easily. So while automation, right, okay, helps us save time and also improve our efficiency. But are there any potential downsides?
Okay. The potential downside could be like in the initial period for a business who come from a very traditional background, and there could be a very, very steep learning curve. So they have to really invest in the staff to get their mindset ready, which could be a huge investment, because if you don't invest in getting the staff ready and also invest in the technology. So if you're still using like inefficient devices that would take longer with the like the Wi-Fi connection is not great or the speed is not great. So that would be like basically impeding the process. And for the users, for your staff, like for people going on the new journey, it would not be a good experience. So initially, like all these like steep learning curve, steep investment, and people who don't push it through or could not go through that change management, they may give up. And once they get like really frightened by this change, they may not try for a long time. So that could be a potential downside. So that's why business who need to change for all these efficient, they really need to look for someone who is very experienced in guiding them how to do the change management, how to get the staff, how to get the equipment, how to get the workflow, or like planned and executed that suit the client understanding and the mindset of the staff in the business.
I totally agree. Change management is really the key area. I think the management of the company, they need to educate their staff to make sure that they are prepared, they have the mindset to accept this new change. And then comes the partner, where they help them with the implementation so they can get them step by step. It's like small wins every step. So then they can actually accept that, hey, this change is helping them. Rather than if you go at one go, oh, that's going to be a disaster. Okay, so with all this, I mean, this downside can be potentially avoided. Okay, you can plan in advance, get a good partner, get the management and the team ready. I think that's something key. So thank you. I mean, to round off today's discussion, right? I think the key takeaways, like you mentioned, the first thing is the automation, like the benefits. Okay, the data analytics. It helps reduce a lot of day-to-day mundane work. And you know, I mentioned the bank statement, the highlight, the tick off to make sure that I have reconciled. Okay, so then it helps you, give you more time. The accountant now don't have to do the data entry. Instead, I think they can focus on reviewing the reports, okay, giving insights to the management, where they should be improving their business. I think that's something that's good. I think second key point is automation is here to stay and is going to be evolving even more. Like say AI, ChatGPT. I think in future, maybe we have ChatGPT in Xero as well. We can just type in and then they will help us to work. Yeah. So I mean, then it's just how we're gonna use it. Yeah, like you mentioned, the trainings. Then you know that what has to be put in place. Okay. Thirdly, you mentioned the tools. Okay, the add-ons. So make use of all the tools that's suitable for your business. Okay, you can pick and choose. There's so much on the Xero marketplace. Just search for the industry, search for the things that you need. Then I believe there's also all the reviews over there. So it helps you with the decision. Okay, so makes it much more easy. Okay, I think lastly, to our last point in terms of training wise, I think there's a lot of channels or resources. I mean, the Xero Learning, there's the advisory directory where the partners are all there listed. Okay, you can select which advisors is which industry that's specialized in, okay, which tools they are using. So then you can actually be able to contact them, ask them to advise you on this automation journey. Yeah. And I think lastly, Xero support. Xero support is wonderful. I mean, they respond within 24 hours. So I think you mentioned before, it's meant by accountants and bookkeepers. It's not only tech person.
They are. They work like 24/7. Started from New Zealand, Australia, UK, US, and then back to New Zealand.
All the different time zones.
Yeah, it's like round the clock. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, Xero support is always there to help you. Okay. Then I mean, of course, then you have all the Xero partners. If the support doesn't help, I mean, it's not something that they can help with in terms of implementation and stuff. Then the partners is there to help. Okay. So yeah, that I think is a round off. Is there anything that you think I have missed out or you can add on?
In Xero, we constantly build new features based on the ask from accounting firm, based on the ask from customers. So we have releases every month. So if you go to our Xero Central, click new releases, then you can see all our new releases. So I think in our next podcast, we're going to talk about new product releases, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's always. I always look forward to the product updates because that's where I can explore new features, something that helped us with our job. This is always wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Esther, for this wonderful session today. It's very insightful, and I hope the listeners, now understand more how Xero can help them with their automation journey and how they can automate their accounting process, and not only that, understand the downsides like I mentioned, high learning curve, the change management. So then they can keep in mind all these things when they do their implementation of their automation. So we look forward to the next podcast. And thank you once again for this wonderful session.
Thank you, Li Han. Thank you so much. That's really great sharing. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.